Hey there troopers, this is Random Game Channel, and I'm back with another gameplay tips video. This time it's for the sniper. Alright, so we're just gonna go do a class and weapon overview, followed up by several different gameplay tips and other stuff that I think could be helpful for you. Alright, so what is a sniper? What's their role in the battlefield? Well, the sniper is a class that cares a lot about single targets that have very high value on the battlefield. So things like Tigers, Royal Guards, Infernos, Grenadiers, Gunners. Those are the kind of things that the sniper has to, look out for and deal with. But specifically the long-range attacking bugs like the Infernos, Grenadiers, and Gunners, because not a lot of other troopers can really deal with them at long range. I mean, they can still shoot at them, but the sniper can do it more effectively than the other classes. Okay. And this class has a lot of, gadgets in their arsenal that can debuff the bugs. But what about the class passive ability? High intensity speed training. Extreme conditioning and aerobic training net you faster traversal speeds, so they can actually run faster than all the other classes, with the exception of maybe the Ranger. So if you like to snipe, then you probably want to play as a sniper, but they have other things that can lend support to the team besides just going after the high value targets, which we'll go over soon. Alright, so what about their activated ability? The Boost Jet provides the troopers the ability to execute a short but powerful jet jump. So this one is a vertical jump jet. This one's different from the Ranger, where the Ranger is more of a horizontal jump jet. So with the boost jet, you can get up to places that most other troopers can't get to, and this will allow you to find a good sniper's nest. The only issue about fighting from the sniper's nest is that it makes you a juicier target for, or makes you an easier target for Infernos, Grenadiers, and Gunners to get you. Especially if you don't have a lot of cover in your position that you're camping in. So your environmental awareness needs to be, pretty good if you're going to be playing the sniper. Because there's times where I've played as this class and I've seen, like, Infernos and Grenadiers and Gunners go out of their way to target me. So it's just something to be careful with. Okay. So checking my notes, we need to still go over the weapon overview. So let's talk about the weapons that are native to this class. So remember, the Morita one is native to all classes, but the other ones are the Hawkeye and the Morita XXX sniper rifle. So let's go look at the Hawkeye here. It's a semi-automatic marksman rifle. Has a pretty good amount of damage. I can stun bugs with enough shots. I think it takes up to maybe 2 to 4 shots to kill your standard warrior, up to 4 shots for a gunner. This thing can fight at any range, close, medium, long range. It's a really great weapon. I love using this thing. But what about the modifications? You get a 3x scope, a reflex sight, get extended magazines, quick reload magazines. The extended magazines will give you plus 50% magazine size, but you lose one in your reserves. And the quick reload magazine, you have a smaller mag, but you can reload faster. Next one is the vented barrel, minus 50% recoil, minus 50% bullet velocity. Not a big deal. Not a big deal with a minus 20% velocity. The recoil helps out a lot for getting consistent shots in. Let's see, what's the other one that I said that was in here? Yeah, yes. Tired. But the next one is the Marita one. This is your standard assault rifle for each class. So if you've been following along with the other gameplay tips video, this might get a little boring for you, but I still need to talk about this just in case no one's watched the other ones. So what's on the Marita one? Why is this rifle so good? It performs well at pretty much any range. Of course, there's some damage fall off the further away your target is, but that's just a given for any weapon. But this is a fully automatic assault rifle that can serve you pretty well. So you can switch things up and maybe try out the sniper rifle, or if you just want to stick with the Hawkeye. But what are the modifications? You got a reflex sight, quick reload magazine, and extended mags, FMJ rounds, which makes the weak point modifier a little less effective, but it increases the armor piercing to 4. So armor piercing is something that isn't really explained too much. Each bug has their own armor value. If you use a weapon that has an armor piercing value that's lower than that, you'll deal less damage. But if you have something that matches or exceeds it, then you'll just be doing full amount of damage. The hollow point rounds is kind of the opposite of that. It makes the armor piercing less effective, but if you have a really good aim, you can deal more damage through the weak point because it bumps it up to 2 times the damage instead of 1.5. Compensator is good, you get minus 20% recoil, but you also have the ability to get an underbarrel shotgun. You get 6 shots with 12 reserve shells that you can reload it with. The core weapon itself, for the Marita, you get minus 20% accuracy while moving and minus 5% accuracy while standing. You also lose 1 magazine, but that's okay. You get a lot to start with, you get 10. So that's the Marita 1. Let's talk about the actual sniper rifle itself. This has one of the highest armor piercing ratings here. And this thing hits extremely hard. So the scopes, we have a 6x, a 4x, and a 2x. The 6x, for some strange reason, the shots feel even less accurate. It doesn't feel like it is actually zeroed. At least that's how it feels to me. So I hardly ever use it anymore. I feel like the 4x is good enough. Even for extremely long ranges, you can still see good enough with a 4x where you can see the weak points on bugs. And then if you like to be a short range sniper, you might want to consider using a 2x scope. Yeah. For the short scope, you get plus 20% aim stability, so that's pretty cool. So if you want a more stable shot, you can also go into your focus mode. It's like that thing in Call of Duty where like you hold your breath when you're trying to snipe thing. So on the keyboard, it's going to be left shift. You just hold it down. I have no idea what that is going to be on the controller, so you need to figure that out on your own. I don't play with controllers. So definitely check out your settings and look at your key bindings, okay? So you get the quick reload magazine and the extended magazines, pretty standard for all classes. Vented barrel, you get minus 50% recoil, minus 20% velocity. And then you get explosive rounds. So you kind of change the sniper rifle into kind of like a real anti-material weapon. So this thing's pretty cool. I like using this thing a lot. You get minus 10% direct damage, but the explosive damage is significantly high. It's like 500. And then the armor piercing rating becomes 1, but the weak point multiplier becomes 3. So there's like some downsides to it, but the explosive damage and the amount of stagger that this thing can deal with, or can be dealt to the bugs, are pretty good. You can shoot at the ground next to them and it'll like stun them, so it's pretty nice. If they're close enough to each other, you can get multiple kills with one shot, which is pretty cool. So that's the sniper rifle. What about the pistols, though? Kind of forgot to talk about these with the other classes, but um, the stuff that you get natively are the Peacemaker and the Emancipator. Peacemaker is something where it's like your standard, low damage dealing pistol. It can't really stun any bugs, and I don't really like using it. Even at medium range, this thing becomes pretty inaccurate, but the recoil is pretty controllable compared to the Emancipator. Recoil is a lot higher, but it can stun bugs in one hit. It hits harder, shoots a lot more accurately at longer ranges. You can kind of snipe a gunner bug with this thing, and you just can't go wrong with this weapon. A lot of the pistols have like the same attachments, FMJs, extended mags, quick reloads with reflex state, which you can kind of see here. This one has hollow points though. The utilities. So with the utilities, we don't really have that many options. We only got two. First one's the scan dart. It's like a little dart gun that you can shoot at bugs. It'll scan the bug and like anything nearby, which when something's scanned, it'll take additional damage. You get like 10 rounds to work with. Next one is the LV visor. It highlights bugs in your field of view automatically. Just switch to it, it'll turn on by itself. The only thing though is like the bugs are highlighted in a green color, so if you're like green color blind, you might need to go in your settings and turn on the colorblind accessibility options. So hopefully that helps you out if you have that kind of issue, I guess. I'm red and green, so I have like the best of both worlds, right? So sometimes it can be a little hard for me to see. Look at this. It actually gives you some stats here. That's interesting. I don't remember seeing that. But anyways, it's great when you're using this in low light settings or if you're in pitch black settings. Fantastic to use. Should always use it. Next thing is the grenades. Every class has access to the MX-90 grenade. Um, this is a pretty decent grenade. Blast range is 7 meters. Has pretty good damage. Just takes 3 seconds to go off. Next is a scan grenade. It just throws out kind of like a scan beacon and like scans everything around it. So anything that has been scanned will take additional damage. Radius of 6 meters, lasts for 30 seconds. High-X grenade. This is like a sticky grenade. Can one-hit kill grenadiers and infernos. Has a small blast radius. It says it's effective at removing arachnid corpses, but it's like quite the opposite. It doesn't really destroy bug corpses very well, so that's something to keep in mind. The perks, let's just talk about them left to right, then we'll talk about the galactic perks. So high ground, firing on a bug from above will yield more damage. Bullets travel faster when they travel downwards. Deals up to 1.3 times damage based on difference in height. At minimum, I think people have said you need to be about 8 to 10 meters, vertical distance. Basically, it's just about the same height as the tower that you can build in the base. Magazine bandolier, pretty standard, gives extra mags for your weapons. Spotter training, advanced scout training aids in the target triage of high priority bugs. Automatically scan bugs that when they have been pinged. Scan enemies to take additional damage. Utility satchel, you get +1 to all your utilities. Kinda not really useful for this class, but it's there. Marathon, improved endurance allow faster sprint speed. Sprinting for 2 seconds increases your sprint speed, but you must remain out of combat. If you get hit by something, you do get slowed down. Directed fire. Advanced sharpshooter training provides improved target prioritization and team coordination. Further increased damage dealt to scanned enemies. Fighting retreat. You get +33% backwards movement speed, +50% hip fire recoil reduction. It only triggers and it only works when you're below 50% health. Utility utilization. So you get to add 1 to all your utilities, but you get -50% repair tool repair speed. So you can't really repair things as fast now if you have this equipped. Lead lined plates, +30% damage resistance to all forms of damage. -33% jump height, -50% climb speed. That won't really be too much of a problem for this class because you can just use your jump jet to get up to somewhere high. Okay. So yeah, I believe that's all the perks now. So next thing we're gonna talk about is what kind of sniper do you want to be? Do you want to be a close range to mid-range sniper, or do you want to be a mid-range to long-range sniper? So let's talk about it in terms of, I guess, just using the Merida sniper rifle first, and then we'll talk about the Hawkeye. So with the XXX sniper rifle, you can play it two different ways now that we have a 2x scope. Can play it as a mid to long range sniper, but if you want to do that, you probably want to stick with a 4x or the 6x, because the magnification is a little bit better than, say, like 2x if you're using 4. Now, if you're going to be playing as a long-range sniper, then you need to find somewhere that you can camp in and make sure that you have access to ammo, because you know, the ammo on this thing can run out pretty fast if you're like sniping a lot of bugs. That's like the only downside, right? You don't have access to ammo, you're not going to be able to snipe as much. So I totally recommend, where is it, having the extended mags on. Explosive rounds is up to you to use or not. Just know that not damage fallout, but bullet drop is pretty big, pretty noticeable on this thing. Next thing I like using is a vented barrel. Helps with the recoil, so I can place my shots better, you know, for a follow-up shot. And I like using the 4x. It's easier for me to aim with. So that's kind of like the setup I use if I'm going to be a long-range to mid-range sniper. However, if you want to be a shorter-range sniper, 2x is going to work very well for you. So if you're playing as a short-range sniper, it's not as important to find a sniper's nest. I mean, you can kind of run and gun with this thing now because of shorter scope, but you know, it doesn't hurt to find somewhere that you can camp in. I always kind of imagine like a short-range sniper is something where like you can be more mobile oriented compared to like just sit in one place being a long-range sniper. And having what's that one perk was called again? Having marathon will allow you to move around a lot easier and allows you to reposition yourself more rapidly. So those are kind of like my thoughts on how to be short range versus long range with a triple X. However, with the Hawkeye, this thing can work pretty well at close range and long range. It won't be dealing as much damage as the sniper rifle, because let's see, you know, this is 225 versus 1100 points of damage per shot. The sniper rifle is a bolt action rifle, so it shoots a lot slower than, say, the Hawkeye, because it's a semi-automatic. You pull a trigger, just one shot every time. So with the Hawkeye, you can fight in without a sniper's nest pretty well, because if something gets close to you, this thing is light enough where you can like swivel around and like, you know, eliminate that threat. But I don't truly see this as being like the true sniper rifle. This is more like a marksman rifle. So when I think of sniper, I think of like the triple X. Just know that, you know, with a Hawkeye, if you feel like you're gonna be overwhelmed because there's a large group of bugs, you probably want to run out of that position and find somewhere safer to fight in. So yeah, just my thoughts and opinions. Yeah, I primarily play with the sniper rifle when I'm playing as a sniper. Alright, what's next here? Yeah, since we're talking about like bugs and stuff, target priority list. So this is going to be very, very subjective. This is going to be kind of different depending on who you talk to. So just kind of know that this is kind of like open to you to adopt or not, or even adapt to your own needs. First one is going to be the gunner, followed by a tie, almost a tie between the Inferno and Grenadier, and then Royal Guard, Tiger, Warriors, Drones. So why the gunner, right? This thing has no cooldown. Once it's spotted something, it's just going to keep shooting at them until they are downed. And this thing's pretty damn accurate at all ranges, and the damage it deals can be pretty significant. So when you see a gunner, make sure you take it out as fast as you can, because this thing can take down a trooper in a matter of seconds. So next one is the Inferno and Grenadier. They're kind of tied because they kind of do almost the same thing. But if you had to choose which one first, I'd say it's the Inferno because it has an AoE fireball attack that once it detonates over the target area, it kind of leaves like this large wall of fire that persists for like 3 to 5 seconds. And it deals a lot of damage. Like if you are in the middle of the blast zone, you're pretty much dead. If you're on the periphery of the blast zone, you're going to be pretty close to death. And then the lingering burning effects will probably finish you up as well. So this thing's pretty nasty. You gotta take care of it whenever you can. Next after that is the Grenadier, but why the Grenadier? Well, it's not as deadly as the Inferno, but it does significant, what's the term that people use? Burst damage. So it can one-hit kill a wall, definitely one-hit kills troopers, and man, this thing's pretty gnarly to take down because the flaps on the back where it shoots the plasma from, it's even if it's open, for some reason the hit registration on it doesn't always go through, so that's something you kind of need to work with when you're trying to go after this thing. And it's just so deadly. So just make sure that you try to take this thing out whenever you can. It does have a fairly decent amount of health like the Inferno, so just keep an eye out on them and make sure that they don't snipe you, because they can and will go after you for both the Inferno and Grenadier. However, with the Grenadier, once its shot has been made, it doesn't have any kind of lingering damage effect like the Inferno does. So it's like, I mean, it's deadly, but it's not as deadly as an Inferno can be. Because once it's shot, it's done its thing, that has to go on cooldown. Next up is the Royal Guard. This thing, it's like pretty tanky. It needs the whole team to take it down. I believe it can one-hit kill a wall, but just like a Tiger, it can also one-hit kill a trooper. And depending on the game mode, like for example if you're playing on Arc, it typically signals that a Hive mission is about to take effect. So find it, kill it, get into core, blow up the core, and be done with it. Next up is the Tiger. one hit kills troopers. It doesn't necessarily one hit kills walls, but it deals a lot of damage. So with the Royal Guard and the Tiger, they walk pretty slow, so they can be dealt with at a little bit later point in time. But eventually, you're gonna need to deal with them. But typically, you know, the shorter range weapons that most of the other team members will be using will be effectively dealing with this, while you can concentrate on gunners, infernos, and grenadiers. After that is the warriors and the drones. Uh, Not really gonna be the best use of your time fighting these things, because like I said, the other stuff it presents a greater and more significant threat. It's not to say that you should ignore them completely, because they'll be in in large numbers, but that's something that the rest of the team can deal with. Alright, so let's take a quick break here and go to the building tutorial. Alright, so I loaded up into the training simulator and I've built a few things here. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about is jumping large gaps like this one. So let's imagine it like, if you ever played on Agni Prime and there's that large lava river you need to cross, right? You can't just jump in it and expect to survive. If this was a lava, you'd be dead, right? So here's a kind of demonstration on how you can use the jump jet to get across that kind of large gap. Now I'm going to demonstrate jumping then jump jetting versus just jump jetting from the ground. So if I do the jump and then do the jump jet, you'll see that I've cleared that gap with some room to spare. However, if I just jump jet, you'll see that I barely cover that distance, and if you're kind of moving back and forth in mid-air, you might not make it. Some people kind of do that when they're in the middle of the air. So you can go backwards, you can go forwards a little bit, you can kind of control the momentum of where you want to go, right? So what if I let's do it again. I'm gonna jump this time. Again, just to reinforce how far you can get when you do that extra jump. Right? It helps out a lot. What if we do a run? Will running help? Well, let's see. Yep, it can help. It doesn't seem to place you that much further, maybe 1 more meter. But not much. That doesn't make too much of a difference. Alright, so that's one thing you can see where the jump jet can be pretty useful. What about like this tower though? How am I gonna clear this with just a jump jet? Well, let's see. Okay, not bad, right? Just enough to get over the top of the railing. But what if I jump? How much more distance am I going to get? Significantly a lot higher, right? It's like almost a whole head higher. So let's do it again. Jump jetting without the jump gets me just enough left off to clear the edge here. However, again, let's do the jump with the jump jet. Much higher. Look at that, right? So don't forget to jump first and then jump jet, which leads me to the next thing right here. I want to get to the other tower. Obviously, you're gonna need a jump on this one because, you know, this railing's in the way. But let's see if I can demonstrate it. Oops. Let's just climb back up here by just jumping on the... Nope. I never said I was good at platforming. Alright, so we're on top of this now. I'm gonna be kind of in the middle. So am I able to get to the other platform without jumping? Well, let's see. Oops, I jumped. It's a natural instinct for me now. So let me do it again without jumping. Alright. Am I gonna make it? Just barely. Almost didn't make it, right? Let's wait for a cooldown. Let's see how much further I can go if I jump with a jump jet. Wow, you actually can go over. I tried to place myself, you know, in here, but I didn't time that right. But as you can see, when you jump and you do it, you get a larger coverage area. See? No problem. Versus just jump jetting. Let's do it again. Just, you know, reinforce it. Like, you barely make it. Alright. So, there you go. So, hopefully, this demonstration gives you an idea of, like, how you can, like, use this thing effectively. Alright. Back to the menu. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is your position on the battlefield. So for me, if I want to play as a sniper, I typically want to be in this position where I'm either going to be on the edge of where all the action is, or I want to be at the back of the group so that if bugs do come in, they're going to hit the front line first, and then I can lay down some cover fire. And I will typically try to look for somewhere that I can camp that's up high where the bugs can't reach me. However, that does expose you to the ranged bugs. You know, so like Infernos, Grenadiers, Gunners. And depending on how low your the place that you're camping in, a bombardier can jump up to where you are and blow you up. So that's something you need to be very, very careful with. There's been times where I got taken out by a grenadier, or not a grenadier, a bombardier, when I thought I'd be safe and they wouldn't be able to get me. But you just need to, you know, be good on your environmental awareness so that the other stuff can't get you too, because they will target you if they can. And you know, if you get stuck up there, there's a good chance that a medic won't be able to revive you. So that's the thing you need to be careful with. So just go cover to cover. Never stay on the ground for very long, because you don't really have good survivability if a large group of bugs decides to attack you. I mean, you can outrun them, but you want to you want to be fighting to some degree, so you don't have to run 100% of the time. But if you do need to escape to a better position, run off a cliff because the bugs will not follow you, or at least they shouldn't follow you, and hopefully you survive the fall. Um, at that point, it'll buy you enough time to get up to a different sniper's nest. So yeah. Okay, my loadout recommendations. Uh, I really like playing with a sniper rifle for this class because it deals so much damage. It one-shots gunners, one-shots warriors. I think it can take up to 4 to 6 shots for a grenadier. I'm not sure about the other bugs, but this thing, if you tap a bug anywhere with this round from a shot from this rifle, it's gonna stun them, and it'll buy you enough time to get a second or even a third shot off with this thing. Let me just do this real quick, get everything set up. So, now this one's up to you, but I've been having a lot of fun with the explosive rounds, so you know, you can add it here or not, it's up to you. But this is what I use if I'm going explosive rounds. If I'm not going with explosive rounds, I'm going with this. Minus 50% recoil, minus 20% bullet velocity. Why am I not using the vented barrel with the explosive rounds? It just feels like it goes too slow for this thing, because you have to kind of adjust for the bullet drop on this projectile. So you kind of want to, you know, send out the shot faster. So yeah. I like the Emancipator. It's a good backup weapon because it can stun your standard warrior in like one shot, thus buying you enough time to relocate to a different and better position. FMJ rounds because I don't have to worry about placing my shots as well, because it turns up the armor piercing rating to 4. The reflex sight will just help me get a better sight, and the extended mags will just allow me to shoot more before having to reload. Utilities, not much choice. I do like using the M90 grenade. It's like I feel like I can get rid of a group of bugs a little bit easier. With the high-X grenade, I'm not going to be close enough to like stick a bug with this thing. A scan grenade can be useful, but I like using the MX90 in cases where like I have a large group of bugs near me. I can throw it and it's almost like a guarantee almost all of them will be dead. But if you want to go like full-on support, I mean, you can use the scan grenade too. For the perks, it's always a toss-up for me. I like using directed fire, but I felt like to reposition myself a little bit faster, I like using marathon because it allows me to run faster. High ground, well, it's useful because most times I'm going to be at a higher elevation. So that'll give me some more damage. Spotter train's really very useful. Every sniper should be using this. So you ping a bug and then it gets scanned. That'll allow you to deal more damage to it, and if someone else sees it, they shoot it, they can deal more damage to it as well. So that's like a way to help support the team. And it also let people know, hey, there's something over there that we should check out. So it's kind of requirement almost to use the spotter training, but of course, these are just recommendations. You don't have to, go with these things. Go with what you think is going to be best for you. And that is it for the sniper. Hopefully that gives you better, more clear understanding of what this class can do, what you can do with it, and I hope it gives you a better first time experience than what I did. All this stuff I had to kind of figure it out on my own, ask questions, and a lot of piecemealing things together, just trying to make sense of all the different stuff that we have in the game. Alright, troopers, well, that's it for me. Don't forget to, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, let you know when other videos are going up, and I'll greatly appreciate any support that you can give me, because this channel is still very small and it's growing. Well, till next time, troopers, I'll see you in the battlefield. See you there.